Hello. Today I give you a small chapter about so-called authentic performance practice and some problems arising from what we think today is the authentic style. Due to some written tractates about the music in baroque time, in classical time, for example Leopold Mozart, there is the idea that all the notes definitely must not be too long. And so, to be on the secure side, many musicians are now playing very short. Most of the musicians, and particularly the strings in the orchestras. So when we have today a piece of baroque music or a Haydn symphony or Mozart or Beethoven or Schubert, at least then almost everything is played short. Of course, not when there is a legato bow written, but particularly the final notes of the phrases. And also famous themes like Beethoven's Second Symphony, bum, diriam, diriam, bum, bum. No, it's dom, diri, diri, not bum, diri, diri, boom, diri, diri. It's totally different. Dim, diri, diri, bum, diri, diri. This is hysteric, and this totally eliminates also the color and also the audibility of the whole chord. So finally there only stays the high note and the low bass, and then we have a total misproportion because the bass always is bom, that means not so short, and the high note is pep. So of course the high note is much shorter, and so we have to understand that if we play short, the higher we come, the shorter it is. And the higher register we have in the instrument, the shorter it is, and the less rich the sound is. And so we arrive in complete an imbalance, and in truth it would be necessary that if we have a staccato, the higher we go, the longer the note is, to be in the same staccato character as the lower instruments. And so this is one thing, of course, the imbalance. But the other thing is, if we play everything short, everything becomes fast by nature. And then many people think, okay, but Beethoven has to be fast because he wrote such fast tempi. We know now that this is wrong, that Beethoven's metronome was simply wrong. At least we know that we don't know how Beethoven's metronome was, and that we absolutely cannot trust in the metronomization of Beethoven. Because we have this famous letter by Robert Volkmann writing to his pupil Zichy in the 1870s, that means almost 50 years after Beethoven's death, that he cannot give his pupil metronome markings for a Mozart sonata because, as you know, he writes to the pupil, all the metronomes have different speed. So how can we believe in Beethoven's metronome? And how can we believe in some ideas of speed? Of course, there are reports how long concerts took. And in most cases, it's very astonishing how long these concerts were. So at least there is some non-correlation between these metronome markings and the durations of concerts, as we know. So that is also remarkable. But basically, we have to know that we have to understand the setting of the music. That means if we have dissonances, they arise in, that means we have a note which is long and then another note becomes dissonant, goes against it, and then comes the resolution. And if everything is short, this dissonance doesn't really exist. It's only a hypothetical dissonance. But we have to come back to really feel these dissonances with having the notes long enough. And the final notes of the phrases, if we take them so short, there are long pauses with nothing. Why? And so what happens automatically we hurry up, we speed up, because if it's so short, nothing happens. And also, it's an extra tension for the musician to keep up the bow so long after being so short. And so, of course, he will also speed up. It's more pleasant. And this led to a practice which is totally nivellating and totally standardization into a kind of mediocrity of period style. And this period style is not real period style. It is what we today think is the period style. We never experienced real period style. So please rethink this whole matter with playing short and of course with playing fast. I will continue with this, but this is my thought of the week for you. Go back into the music and never go automatically with how the so-called authentic performance practice today is. We don't know how it was, but we can go deep into the music and try to understand the music from what we get out of it, of each piece for itself, individually, each composer, each composition. As Marie Perret said, each piece is a living being, an organic living being in its own right. So don't speed up too much and don't play short. Hold the notes, listen to it, let it unfold and let it continue, get the correlation. So, see you next time. All best.